right.
in college football.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's like what the hell are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Yes, someone's going to eat. Like, someone's going to eat those yards.
Yeah, and on that note, I have an over-under as well. Clemson scores 30 points, over or under.
Oh, that's so hard to pick the under there. I'm going to say over.
Yeah, honestly, so I've been doing – here's how I feel about this game is during the week, like whenever I start vibing with our team, I'm thinking like Rhett Lashley, De'Aaron King, thinking of the Florida State game, I'm like, all right, I'm feeling, I wouldn't say confident we're going to win, but just confident that we're going to show up.
Yeah.
And then when we start breaking this game down and talking analysis, then it always goes away pretty quick because I cannot wrap my head around the idea of us giving up less than 30 points.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be in a shootout with these guys because I feel like their defense is better than ours. And, their offense is, you could make the argument that maybe we'll scheme better on offense, but they certainly are more talented than we are on offense. So, I'm trying to pin down a good strategy. You don't want to be in a shootout. You don't want to be in maybe a grinded out game is, I don't know, man. See, here's my problem is if you do smash mouth football, is their run defense better than ours? And I think it is. Our run defense hasn't been great.
Yeah, they excel at defending the run just because those linebackers play so downhill and the front four is so good.
Yeah. So what's I know you've given us a lot of answers already, but my brain is hurting thinking, what's the answer? I feel like they beat us at almost any style that we tried to play, unless we were just forcing turnovers like no other.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how they want to play De'Aaron, right? They kind of have to deal with that as well, where what are we going to do? Are we going to try to take away his rushing attack, or his rushing ability, or, some of the shots he can take downfield? So they have to worry about that as well. I've over just getting some of the the feedback from Clemson fans and just over social media and some of their message boards. There's kind of a sentiment that Clemson of course has an overall higher ceiling, but right now Miami is closer to a finished product. Like we were talking about earlier, some of the units are a little behind, but as a whole, I think right now just a lot of seniority on the team. Clemson's a little bit younger. That'll be good for us. And as far as just the strategy, the type of game you want to play with them, I think Lashley and King, we're going to have their best game. And, maybe we haven't seen all the playbook yet. Maybe there's some stuff we haven't seen that we'll see this game. If there's anything we're holding back, we definitely have to unleash it here.
Yeah. I'm hoping there's a play where De'Aaron King comes out of the tunnel and he's actually Michael Vick. So that would be nice.
That would be great. Okay, all right, brother. Last question. We need a score prediction.
Oh, score prediction. Oh man, these are always so hard. It's because the defenses are always is it going to be bend don't break, or is it going to be a weird game where we kind of play lights out? I'll say.
And you can be honest on here. We're an honest podcast. If you say the Canes are going to lose, that's completely fine.
No, I gotcha. I think we equal out. I think it's close. It's a really good game. I think it's 38-34 Miami.
Woo!
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, good for you, man.
I think our guys are ready. This is it seems to be a different team. Even last year everybody said why are we not winning with all these athletes? Why are we not winning with all these dudes? And it was as we see this year, it looks to be strictly because of coaching.
Yeah.
So it seems to be a different attitude. The offense is humming. De'Aaron King, no mistakes so far this year. We can't say that for any quarterbacks. Maybe since Kaya.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Well, there's one thing I want to point out just before you leave. It is, you mentioned how different it is. in my opinion, our three best players are De'Aaron King, Jalen Phillips, Bubba Bolden. And they're all transfers. They're all new blood into the program.
Yeah.
They come they don't our program's been so toxic. I think it's been dragging these guys down. And also, I'm not giving an opinion on this next fact. I'm just saying it because it's true. And I'm gonna ponder it and try to decide what it means, if anything. But none of them are from South Florida. Rhett Lashley's not a South Florida guy either. So
yeah.
We've really had culture problems, and who's to say if it's like a culture that's coming from the stereotypical quote unquote South Florida divas.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm not giving an opinion on it, but it's worth noting in my opinion. So we'll see what happens, man. Hopefully Manny can fix this culture and we start having more seasons like this, where we have dudes that are willing to put it all out there and not be little babies about everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Hey, brother, thank you so much for coming on. You are welcome on the show anytime. We would love to we'd love to bring you back on. So
of course, man. Love to.
And love the work that you do on Twitter. So thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll definitely do it again. Go ahead and it's at Kane Films on Twitter, and you can read some of my stuff at 305 Sports as well, 305sports.net.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right,
man.
Thanks, Art. We'll catch you later, bro.
You guys have a good one, man. It's going to be a great game.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Go Canes.
Go Canes.
Wonderful.
He was good, man.
Yeah, he knows his stuff, man. He's he's
and if you look at his Twitter, he's always breaking down the film from almost every single Canes player from each game. So go give him a follow. I love what he's.
Yep.
He's definitely going to be on the show again. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks again, Art. And are you ready to bring in Stephan, our guy?
Yeah, let's do it.
I love Stephan, dude.
He's a good guy.
He is. Stephan.
Hey, good afternoon, fellas. How you guys doing?
Steph, what's going on, brother? Steph.
You there, bro?
There we go. My apologies, guys. I thought I was being slick. I thought I was being slick with my my Bluetooth headphones, but Skype doesn't recognize them early. So I was talking to myself for a second there.
No problem, man. No problem. How you doing, Steph?
Oh man, it's the eve, man. I'm feeling so good right now. I'm so excited for the game tomorrow. How about you guys?
I think as the week has gone on, I'm getting more and more confident and more excited for this game. I think after the FSU game and during the bye week, I was like, oh man, we got to go play Clemson. But right now, I'm looking at it as a game where that can catapult us back into becoming a contender in college football. I'm not saying we're going to win, because I still think that the Tigers may edge us out, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than the national experts predict. What are your thoughts heading into tomorrow's game?
You know what? I mean, I'm right there with you, where as the week went along and you saw the different takes, and as you read things, you realize everyone feels the same way about a lot of the aspects of the game for each team. So that does build that confidence. I mean, everyone does recognize that Clemson is still very green on the defensive side. Everyone recognizes that our offense is legitimate. What you have in King is real. What you have with these freshman running backs is very real. I just read today that David Pollock is very high on the Canes going into this game. He has us winning by 2 scores, 2 touchdowns.
Jeez.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I was shocked, man. And this is after I wrote my big speech article, but I was shocked because David Pollock, I feel like, is a very rational guy, and for him to feel that way, I was jazzed, man. I was so excited.
I must have misread that, man, because I'm so used to betting on sports. When he said Canes plus 14, I thought he meant that we're 14-point underdogs.
I felt it as a winning prediction, not necessarily a full score, but just how well we're going to win.
No, it makes sense what you're saying. I think you're right, but I'm just saying, now I feel so much better now. Thank you.
Okay, so heading into the game, I want to start on the Canes offense. What do you think the biggest matchup going into this game is against Clemson? Miami offense against Clemson defense.
Oh, I mean, I think the biggest matchup, first and foremost, has to be the one that you're supposed to win, right? It's Miami's tight ends and running backs against the Clemson linebackers, because with Brent Venables, we know what he wants to do. He wants to play man coverage with the wide receivers, and he wants to attack the quarterback. He wants to shrink the pocket for the quarterback. And what that does, it puts the linebackers on an island, because when you put out a Marsh and Jordan or a Will Mallory, or even if something happens to Larry Hodges along with the guys in the running back room, you have these linebackers that, outside of Isaiah Simmons and one other gentleman, I can't remember his name, outside of those two guys, they're not the best coverage linebackers. So you have Marsh and Jordan, who's a first-round draft pick coming up in this 2021 draft. Will Mallory right behind him is an excellent receiver and an excellent route runner. It spells trouble. I mean, it's a matchup that you have to win on the offense. King has to be licking his chops, looking downfield in the middle of the defense to attack there. So I think that's the matchup you have to watch and expect something to happen.
So do you think that, because we've said for 3 years now that Marsh and Jordan has to be a big part of the Canes offense, and obviously this year he has been. He's by far and away our leading receiver. I mean, he's caught a touchdown in each game. Do you think we see more of Will Mallory this game? I mean, he only has 2 targets this year, and I think we saw what he could do against Louisville. He had the touchdown. He also had the big play that got called back. But do you think that we see more of Will Mallory on Saturday?
I think so, especially if we are in a situation where we do have to run the ball a little bit more, or we do have a rainy game like it's being predicted. You may see more 12 personnel. And so when you have Brevin and Will on the field at the same time, Brent Venables may try to steer the defense and try to bracket Brevin Jordan. So that's going to put a lot of onus on Will Mallory to step up and be the guy that finds the open spot in the defense and really lean on him more while Brevin is taking most of the defense's attention. So I do think we see more Will this game.
Okay. And so I want, sticking with the tight ends and asking a little bit about the wide receivers. We've seen the wide receivers, they've had a case of the drops the past few games. I don't know what's going on with Mike Harley. Mark Pope has had some drops at wide receiver. Would you like to see more of those targets going to our tight ends, or do you want to see us, keep trying to get the wide receivers more and more involved?
You know what? I mean, with these receivers, I think last year when we saw the drops, we saw the errors. It was more about a lack of confidence. They weren't confident in the offense. They weren't sure if they were on the same page with everyone on the field. And I think this year it may be more of a situation of overconfidence. I think the simplicity of the offense and the ability for them to feel comfortable in their own skin, feel comfortable in their abilities, I think they're trying to hit home runs while they're catching the ball. I think that there's no adage, there's no saying that you have to look the ball in before you make a play. If you're looking downfield while you're trying to catch the ball, you're not going to catch it. You're going to miss. You're going to miss it. Your hands are going to fail you while you're trying to run before the ball's in your hands. And I think that's what's happening with Pope. He's a home run guy. He has a pedigree of just getting the ball in space and just being gone. The guy was electric in high school, and I think that's what he's trying to do in college. Similar to what we heard with Jalen Knighton in the preseason and the scrimmages, where he's trying to hit a home run every run. And the same thing applies to the receivers. I think they just need to settle in, get the ball into their body, and then go ahead and make the plays after that. They just have to make sure that the number one thing they do is catch the ball before trying to get those yards after the catch.
Yeah,
man.
I think. Sorry, go ahead, Jordan.
No, you're good. Go for it, Marsh.
I don't know. I'm waiting for the Mark Pope breakout game, and I think we all have been for at least 2 seasons now. And I think people they look at Mark Pope and they only see him dropping the punts and things like that, and he had a few drops against Florida State, but to me, I think he's getting better each week at the wide receiver position, just because I think it goes along with what you're saying about last year. I don't think he had the confidence to step up and be a reliable target. This year, I think he's getting more and more like that. Do you see him improving this season and having those breakout games, or do you think that